Hello and welcome back to Bump Love. If you are new here, consider subscribing to our channel for content on motherhood, parenting, and navigating life as a woman. According to Wikipedia, heartbreak, also known as a broken heart or heartache, is a metaphor for the intense emotional stress or pain one feels at experiencing great loss or deep longing. It's an unfortunate part of life and could happen at any stage in your life, which is why it's important that we build muscle in trying to navigate heartbreak. So I know I'm smiling and we're going to be talking about something serious. But yeah, on the show today, we want to discuss heartbreak and what that looks like in our experience and how we are preparing our kids for their first heartbreak.
Have you ever wondering why you're smiling? Because me just remembering the heartbreak. I'm in pain.
You know, when we were preparing for this show, I was very sure Pumla is going to share about breaking someone's heart.
And I was, but when you mentioned it, now I had to change.
You changed your mind.
And be vulnerable to our audience.
Oh Lord, oh Lord. So have you ever had your heart broken? Tell us about that experience.
I will share my experience. Actually, yes, I came to this show and I'm ready to talk about how I really disturbed someone's son. And I felt that one was the real one. So I learned from and I started to do better after breaking his heart. But I decided, let me be like my people. I also be vulnerable. I have had my heart broken once in my entire life. It was the first and the last time I swore that anyone would ever have access, such power over my heart to break. I was on campus, first year campus. Actually, we had started as if dating in Essex vacation. Yeah. He was on campus for him. I found him on campus. First year was my first, I think I shared before, he was my first sexual partner. I was, and he was so romantic. Yeah. He was such a nice guy. Like, he was everything that you really read about. He was my first boyfriend, like real adult boyfriend, not this one of secondary school kids. My books. No.
The real thing.
So we'll do those things of, he was in Mitchell, I was in Africa. We'll take those long walks at night. Then you don't know who is escorting. Well, let me escort you back.
Let me escort you back.
Then you reach the room, then you call. You hang up. You hang up. Then he hangs up, then you call back and you are annoyed.
Why did you hang up?
It was like that real puppy love. They would lock our gates at midnight, but you would stay there together even when they close the gate. On the gate, you're here like this, you're kissing.
Oh my God.
It was such love. Like, I really felt, oh my God, I have arrived. I was in that real romantic love that every girl dreams about, that only happens in movies and storybooks. Unbeknownst to me, I was a rebound. Oh, boy child. They had, the love of his life had just broken up with him recently. Now he was looking for a gap filler. And showed that I was there.
Very available and willing.
Now, when the ex lands, that boy child is now happy. You know how you exes behave. Wow! She came dangling a kanyebwa. What did stupid boy child do?
He left you.
Grabbed the kanyebwa, ran back. Now he started planning his exit. Let me tell you. And it wasn't so much that he came to break up with me because of that. It was what he said in the breakup. I quote, the words have never left me. This was 16 years ago, 17 over how many? He said, he came to me and honestly said, when I lie in my bed at night, it is not you that I think about last.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I wake up first thing in the morning, you're not the one I think about calling or talking to.
He's romantic even in the breakup.
No!
When I'm going through a hard time, it's not your laps that I feel like I want to lean on or to sleep on to help me.
Was that a message or a verbal?
We were together. Now imagine my heart is breaking after every sentence.
Every sentence.
The heart shatters. Shatters a little more. Shatters. When he, dear, he told me when I have a win in my life, you're not the one I think about celebrating with.
Near that Kakambas boy, what was he winning?
Guys, up to now, when I think about that guy's baby, I feel like I need someone to hold me.
Let's hold you.
Like line after line after. Right. I was 19 freaking years old. Imagine they tell you at 30, maybe you built some kamas. It was my first love.
That was hard.
It was so harsh.
How long before how long was the relationship?
It was there like 6, 7 months, 8 months.
Oh, okay.
It was so sweet. Like you're feeling that sweet love. You're not even understanding anything. We had never quarreled.
How could you with that puppy love?
Imagine the first time he's coming to tell me bad news, he's breaking up with me. Can you imagine? I was there in Africa, you guys. I was so sad. I went back to my room, put on my duvet. I cried.
You cried?
For 4 days. I cried. I didn't go to class. For 4 days I was on campus doing economics. Not going to class.
Someone
that broken your heart.
I did not go for any meal. People had to come and bring me food.
That's how bad. That's how heartbreaks are.
I would feel, heartbreak has like a thing. It is the heart, but you're feeling it in your body. You don't know, it's like childbirth. You're in pain, but you don't know where the pain is coming. But you're feeling it. You don't know where to soothe, where to rub. At that point, nothing made sense. I didn't want to engage. I didn't want anybody to tell me anything unless it was the boyfriend calling me. I was always on my phone, waiting. Vanang, is there a message? Is there nothing?
Reading old messages, maybe
now I'm fantasizing about the past, the good memories that we had of holding. Vanang, every night there was we would do something together. Now I'm there, alone, and cold and miserable, with no virginity. Like what? And for me, it was that feeling, but for me, it was like just an impact. It was just impact after impact after impact. Didn't do anything and just stayed there. My heart got broken. I gave myself up. I said, okay, is this what it is? It has come, it has come. It was like I was grieving, like I felt there was a real loss. I felt there was a loss, a real huge loss that I was mourning. I was literally in mourning. 4 days. But I'll tell you about the bounce back.
The thing about heartbreaks, guys, someone brought it into perspective. You know how you get your heart? Cut it into pieces, blend it. That's how your heart,
and you feel it
that's
all.
How you feel it.
And the other guy drinks it like a smoothie.
But yeah, when you're young, man, it's tough because the love that we put in, even mine was as on campus as well, second year. And there's this guy that I really liked. We were dating, we were happy. And then I suspect that there's a girl that he's seeing. So when I suspect there's a girl that he's seeing, we try to talk about it. Long story short here, I'm like, I've seen with that girl. What is happening? Is it true? Is it not? Tell me. So of course he lied until I caught them together. I didn't catch them in action, but like I'd gone to check on him at his hostel and she was there seated with him. For me that was enough. I didn't show face. But the heartbreak, like you go back home and all you can think of is this
guy.
Like what has just happened. How dare you throw my love to the bin like that? And then you can hardly sleep, you guys. Heartbreaks, you can hardly sleep. All you're remembering is this whole scenario, what happened. You remember the love that you had together. Mine was really that bad. Shattered me.
I think the first cut usually, someone sang is the deepest. A lot of, I think, the heartbreaks usually will happen. The really, really tough heartbreaks will happen when you're much younger. And similar to you and Pumla, my heartbreak happened, I think, transition from like a senior 6 vacation into uni. I met this guy. Now, please note, I grew up in a pastor's home, so boys are bad. That's what I grew up. They are monsters. They are hyenas. because I was very much involved in church activity, so we are meeting guys our age, and then we had a lot of events where guys from different churches would sort of come together. So whether it's like a concert or like some event, there would be guys coming. There was this music group, I'm not going to mention the name, but there was a guy I dated.
We know it.
No, you don't.
It's not Limit X.
No, they were old those days, though. No. So anyway, I started seeing this guy. I actually don't remember him asking me. It was just one of those things where we gravitated towards each other. And that's how church relationships are.
They
don't ask.
Yeah, they just be sending you scriptures,
messages,
what. Then you're like, I think, yeah. Then when you come, then they're like, let's pray together. Then you pray. Then every time when it's an event, they come and sit next to you, and then you just you continue because I think it's wrong as if.
Yes, like there's something. It's almost like you're not supposed to be doing this. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing this. So anyway, I started seeing this guy. He was a radio presenter. So me, it was like I'm dating a celeb. Wow. You know. And he's in a music group. Wow. So, oh my gosh. Right? As if a band. So I started listening to this.
Wow,
it's so cool to be dating the guy in the band. It's so cool. Yeah. So obviously I looked forward to going for, church outreach. We used to call it church outreach. So we'd go to different churches, and if their group was going to be singing, that would be good time, because after they've sung, then we'd leave. Maybe go have lunch, go chill at his place. Like nothing is going to happen. We're just having a good time. Anyway, and then he used to work at radio. He used to do the morning show. And every once in a while, he'll play me a song.
Yours was more romantic than mine.
No, by the way, and it would be very cryptic. It wouldn't be like, oh, this is going out to my girlfriend. It would be like, because we like songs together, he would play a song and he would be like, this one is for you, you know yourself.
That Caroline band members use it. You're 20 who know yourselves. You're right. Guys in bands always do that. It's always
I think they do it. They do it intentionally because they know they are not seeing one person. Anyway, our whirlwind romance came to a halt stop. Well, it didn't. Most of my heartbreaks, I don't know why this is, but I was always ghosted. Like, there was never a conversation like you. Yeah. So he started being distant. So I'm just like, what's happening? No calls. He goes an entire show. He's not said anything. I'm like, what is going on? I would come, so would leave. I was at UCU. I would come to town on Friday. There was a thing called TGIF for the guys who were in one day gear. So it would be like a bunch of young people would be there, would watch a movie. There would be popcorn. So that was plot for me and my dude. I'd come to TGIF with my friends, and he would be very cold. So I would say hello and be like, oh, like, almost like I don't know you. I was like, something is going on, and I'm seeing trouble and danger in the future.
Had you kissed?
Yes, we had. Yes, we had. At least. Yes, we had. Anyway, so eventually, I started hearing rumors that he could be seeing someone, and I even had a name. I'm like, okay, there is somebody. And now he completely became distant. We were not talking anymore. Now my heart was breaking in pieces. I think they would cut like a slice today, tomorrow another slice. Yes, with ghosting, yes. Throwing one piece in a blender. Eventually I asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually seeing said person, yeah. You guys, I don't know. My heart was in pieces. Yes, it was. I was crying almost every day. And then please note, I was at UCU. He was mostly in town. My best friend at the time was at Makerere University, so I didn't really have support. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what sort of conversation to have. So I guess like you, I just allowed. I said, you know what? Yeah. I guess this is it. Let me go through it. I will tell you about the comeback.
Let me go next, because mine is as if auntie.
Church.
These church boys. So now, said
church boys.
Said church boy. Era, like you've said, like now this actually for him, he was a pastor's kid. Sober night to date the pastor's kid. At meanwhile, many girls be liking the pastor's kids. So when he looks in the whole church and he picks you,
Special.
The one. You're the one.
You are special.
I was something else. It didn't also help that the pastor absolutely loved. And then when I would sit, I was like the pastor's child's wife. When would come to
Pastor's daughter-in-law.
pastor's child's wife, pastor's daughter-in-law. Guy sit, guy have arrived. And he was a hopeless romantic. Like, when I say hopeless romantic now, at about this time is when we are going through poverty in our home. This would be a guy who would come, he would shop for me. Tell my mom it's okay, I'll drive her. Now, because he was in church, yes, he was in older. I was probably like in, because we started dating S4 VAC. S4 VAC, but again, like I've shared, the way that the dating happens,
There's never a question,
it's never really a...
They're not asking you out.
Yeah, they're not saying, hi, can you be... you could think that you've been picked out in a church environment because you're many.
Yeah.
You've been picked
That's
out.
how I've broken hearts.
Yeah,
You be there for a year, someone thinks we are dating, but you had never asked
in
me
the
this
church
Then you see
environment.
with somebody else.
I tell them you are annoying.
Ask the question, you didn't tell me that we were doing it.
Lol, no,
Now we know.
you're just wrong. This girl is not okay. This one, when you're in a church environment, and it's like a unspoken thing in the church. We've been knowing, like, hey, man, it's over. I think, anyway. Yeah, and then everybody goes with it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for us, a friend of mine came to see me. She's like, but have you told your mom? Because again, things are not very official. Have you told your mom? Then I'm like, let me tell her. Because she's my friend. We are going through poverty, all of us. What? So I think we are friends with my mom. So I tell my mom, so mommy, she's like, I beg your pardon. What do you mean? This one who has been bringing him, has he been raping you? I was like, raping you. Yeah, and you know how you said that for you, your heartbreak, it went with your virginity. As there was no virginity to, like can you imagine someone breaking your heart and there is no virginity? At least if there's virginity, you cry over your broken hymen. But
it's worse when you've lost your virginity.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's worse. But now someone to break you and they've not touched you. It's so painful. Anyway, my mom says, I'm going to call him here. She calls him. Ngamia, I'm shaking. I said, you know, I'm going to call him and ask him if he loves you. And he's going to say no. I said, hey, Jesus. Songa, they call him. We are there 3. She said, So Manuela tells me that now you are boyfriend and girlfriend. Do you love her? Call him very much. I would like to marry her. My mom was...
At this point, you're in what class?
I know it. We're now like in S5.
S5
coming to S5 coming to now S6. My mom
She was a child,
My
Vanna.
mom was upset. Mama, I agree with you. You, how old were you?
I was 18, I was an adult.
Wow. Anyway, you see, again, like I've shared, ours was not
Child.
like you are there
Child.
thinking that, no, as you are being picked out, that is the
Pastor's
relationship.
child.
That's the definition of the relationship.
Yeah.
You are sitting together, they are praying over you. That is the relationship. You are not
not
romantic.
engaging.
Yeah, no,
I
you
get
are in
you.
that car,
I get you.
Picked out. My mom was upset because for him, he was like, when she finishes school like this, I want to get married to her. My mom could not have it because for her, as far as she was concerned,
Education.
what. Meanwhile, this is a person who has been helping you to buy books for you.
Me, that's what I was about to say. I feel like Nadala people of poverty, when they are helping you material things, it's okay. You keep quiet.
Yeah.
But now when you come in to say that question, to like make things real out in the open, then they fight you.
No, I think.
But when they are dropping your daughter home,
pastors, yeah, because the family, we were good families. And I don't want to talk so much.
anyway,
So anyhow, I tell him later, I say, you know what? Because now my mom, she just couldn't think it, so she just kept saying, like if I would oversleep, she'd be like, maybe you are pregnant. I'm like,
Everything was triggered.
everything would trigger her, especially because I guess we're going through so much. I was her only child, I was her first child, I was her first daughter, only daughter. So she really was really scared. And yet for us on the other end, we're just like, by the way, There's nothing like we just
that's true.
really like each other.
She's a girl.
She's a so but she's a mom. So anyway, now imagine me, who's there, what I'm going through in that place. So now after a while, I tell him, you know what? Me, I live with my mom. I suggest Chinechi to okay. Let's first put it on now. Let's first put a comma. We shall continue like when I'm in S6 VAC. Call him. Okay, I'll wait for you. Man, yeah, whoa. S6. Now my sis calls me like, my sis like, I've been thinking, moving around, are you guys still together? Because they're, but we are on a comma. Because I'm in S6 third term.
I need to study.
Surely, no, it wasn't even about study, because what was there, for me, in my opinion, what was there. But it was a thing of, it's just after this term, I'll be in S6 VAC, and so we can, like now we can resume. So it's just a term here. He should be good. She's like, yes, I think, yeah. So I went, and I was like, you know what? I'm literally the one who first broke up. So it got camouflaged in there, and I was like, maybe am I the one who broke his heart? Is on? How am I feeling? Am I the one? Is he the one? I was really confused at who broke up with who. So I didn't feel anything at that time. Now, S6 VAC begins. I am walking towards church, and I'm standing on the road, and I see a girl opposite the road. And I think to myself, my gosh, she's so beautiful, pretty. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful girl. Anyway, we crossed the road with she, only to realize we're all going to the same destination. Oh, wow. Okay. And she's the new beau. She's the new girl. She's the new one.
The pretty girl.
So I was also again confused. She's so beautiful. I can't blame him, but I had broken up with him, so I can't be hurt. We had put a pause. So I was in that place. Not heartbreak hasn't yet occurred at this point, because I'm still confused at what I am feeling. So I go home. 3 days later, I knock on that door. I open the door. Said boyfriend with girl.
Hey.
Okay. Hi, how are you? At our house.
Come to visit the sister in the Lord.
Yes, our poor house. Okay. Open the door. And hi, how are you?
Break up with you when you're in a good house. But imagine poor house.
In our poor house. Open the door. He's like, hi, Manila, how are you? Because I'm fine. I've come here to see your mom.
Confusion.
And I'm so confused. I think you've come to see my mom. I think you've come to tell you with a girl. I think you're with a girl. Okay, I know we're on a pause. Are we going to continue? How is this? So confused. Not yet a heartbreak. So he goes to see my mom, and obviously because that's our home, I'm also seated in the convo for him to come and tell her this is his girl.
Oh wow!
He came to your mom.
Why?
After all, she's the one who brought the breakup. Now let me show you
that I've left this one.
I've left your daughter. It's now okay.
He had to come home.
And then also maybe also to get. That's when it happened.
That's when it hit you.
That's when it hit you.
My mom started. I told you. I think, but does she know that I'm the one who? I was so stressed out. I was like, why did he bring her? Why didn't he tell me? Okay, so I knew, but then now mine was heartbreak plus confusion. Because you know, in the way the church works, when you are the girl, there are certain positions you are in. Now I'm now sitting behind with fellow commoners.
They've demoted you.
They've demoted
the back seat.
But I'm now sitting with fellow commoners like Rosie. And all my friends, we've now all moved to the back of the
now you move with your bad
Now
days.
you move with everybody.
Now
we'll
While they were dating, she had arrived.
We had arrived with all my friends. We are the ones, when we are the ones who eat first. Of course. I think now this one is public.
It's a public embarrassment.
Now, I think when he now came to tell my mom, it became so real. And now that's when I understood that what a heartbreak looks. I was hurt, plus offended, plus embarrassed, plus humiliated.
The whole cocktail.
Now you see how you stayed in for 4, and now, unfortunately for me, was sleeping in the same bed with my mom.
So you'd cry there.
So you see how you can cover yourself to cry.
Yeah, you can't because they're
Now you can't cry. You're holding your teeth. The night is so long. Yeah. You have to wait for her to leave for you to start crying.
After all she told you.
After all and I told you.
Yeah.
I had more emotions than a heartache. Yeah. And I don't want to remember that. I cried, I didn't eat, and now then, you know how you at least you had friends, they were coming, bringing you food. Or now I was real home alone. My brothers were in school, my mom would go and work. So I would stay there in the bed. And I only had a few hours to cry because then I had to go and serve
and work, yes.
So you
had to schedule your crying.
I had to schedule my crying. It was so painful. And then every Sunday I would be reminded. Because you know most heartbreaks, you don't see the person.
Yeah, but now you have to go to church.
Now for me every Sunday.
Couldn't you change church?
How? Because this is your family church.
And not only are you reminded, you've even been demoted to the back.
That's why I said change church. Because nobody demotes me. And I stay there.
Salty though. So now you change church.
Can I get demoted?
And then also, anyway, we'll talk about that.
Church is like a lifestyle. Like, you know, the way you have your kafunda. You're like, I shift from my place so that somebody else has peace. You're like,
and they have more power. Anyway, we'll talk about the bounce back.
We'll talk about bounce back.
Angie.
Well, in my case, the love of my life is my current husband.
Yeah.
So I don't have somebody I can speak of.
You have him. I was actually hoping one of you would share a marriage, heartbreak in marriage story.
Yeah. This is what happened. I don't know if you people know.
We hold you, Chichi.
Yeah.
Why you unsettled?
I fell in love. I'm married to one of the most loving, caring human beings. You know, somebody who in the whole time we've been together, one time I was really acting up and he was like, shut the fuck up. I wasn't sure. I was like, me? Impossible. Because me, I'd always be my things, but he always be like, man, babes, it's okay. Okay. You know, I every day I thank God that in our days we didn't have social media. I was those girls where on Valentine's they send an entire car full of roses. I was those chicks where now imagine I've already had a Sante and the mall where I had my shop on Valentine's they filled, as we entered, the whole mall is lined with roses up to my shop. He's those guys of, you put the, to an extent, my dad, us guys come from a loving family, but he was like, these guys, he's those men who will treat you so good. And for a very long time, already I was raised in that family whereby I'm doted on. Then I married them. You people, don't be stealing my dude, but oh, no, now you are stealing what? Those days you would, but now really. I asked for it. Okay, I need this. Okay, babes, me, I can't look at the computer to write my dissertation. You wake up in the morning, he has typed it out for you. I'm saying, do you see how my son, wait it is. Do you see, you guys have met my sons, and already my sons have big crushes on you, but wait it is. But you already know that. But anyway, so you can imagine, Charlie, Leo, Michael, Asante, we are still on that. Hi. Then one day he didn't want to be my friend anymore.
What does that mean?
Of like, I'm like, so good. Going out, we are together.
Yeah, every time you're always doing things together.
And what I'm speaking of happens in every marriage.
Okay.
One of you just gets tired of the other. And the truth is, I can be exhausting. Do you get what I'm...
Exhausting.
Yes.
Oh.
I can...
Exhausting.
Any human being will call someone.
Okay.
Especially if someone always is at your beck and call. He does everything. I think he reached a point whereby it was like,
Kind of giving.
He would, anything, I just told you, anything I asked for with the time, whether it was what, I've told you, even me, I'd be there and
remember,
I'm like,
givers, when they give, now, okay, so the cycle might have started from them giving without you asking, but now when you realize that they're giving you, then you take more. You keep asking, you keep asking.
You see, even that type of person, you don't even have to ask.
It's always.
I come back from school, there is already a gift for you at home. Do you understand? That's why I always
understand, but munange.
Maybe people behind the camera can.
Yeah, maybe some audiences can
That's why I remember I always tell you when we are talking about love, that for me, I have been loved. Properly in every sense. Gifts are bought. And my friends always say, and just because you have nobody to compare against. But even them, when they're like, you guys, OJ is such a nice guy.
He's a lover.
Remember, sometimes he sent us some million to go and enjoy. Bump love. Thank you, Mr. Omeka.
Hey, you people. He's and now him and my father just connected. So can you imagine when
The one who doted on you connects with the one who's
the one I love is loved by my family? As in, it was just too correct. He started hanging out with his own friends.
Okay.
And I didn't have friends.
Because he was your only friend.
Because I had friends, but it was better to be with him. And sometimes maybe I'd go out, then maybe we could get a bit of an misunderstanding. So I was like, now why do I be with my friends? And then it can make my OJ unhappy. So I slowly, like, if you can't be with me where he is, like the place where they say, you leave. So Nange,
he grew up from you.
yeah.
He winned himself over you.
And you poor, you're laughing, but
was tough.
imagine,
I can imagine.
imagine
Your
you,
marriage is the worst.
especially, you know, the people say, Boba, after 3 years, he lost interest. Has somebody ever been interested in you for so long?
Yeah.
Or even people look at you like, Chidaka, this chick is lying. But it was that truth. So, and it wasn't like a big thing. It's just like somebody's like, you know what? I think I want to I have different interests. And I'm thinking, which different interests? Okay, you tell me and I also do the different interests. As in, I always used to say, I know heartbreak or what. I'll tell you. And that's why I'm saying it's best if somebody comes out and tells you. Yes. But OJ is not a confrontational man. Yeah. Okay. Not at all. So by the time he was saying, I was like, no, I think today I'll hang out with my friends. I'm like, okay. And tomorrow, and the other day,
and the next day.
Do you know what paper cut is?
Oh Lord.
You can't see it,
when
but it's
your
painful.
heart breaks, you guys,
Lord.
today you've spoken about the blender, but I think that was it.
That is it.
The truth is, for the first time in my life, I located where my heart actually lies.
Yes.
I felt
That's when you know where your heart's located.
I felt my heart break. And I'll be like, baby, what can I do to change? And you know, for a long time, I put on weight when I had the children. And he would always, the truth is that I would have lost the weight, but he was that kind of man. When someone would tell you about your fat, he's like, baby, you are perfect. When I'd be like, but babes, my stretch marks, he's like, but those are battle scars. You gave me children. As not somebody who is constantly
validating you.
Oh, you people, it is a terrible, terrible, terrible feeling.
Yeah, it is.
And guess what? she's sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
You're like, Lord, breathe. So of course I went, I told mommy, and my mom was like, I'm sorry, my child. I don't know what to tell you because this hasn't happened to me before.
That's what your mom said. What?
My mom.
She says her heart's never been broken. Really?
No.
Oh, wow.
But you should
No.
see them together. That man can't break her heart.
Mommy and
He can't.
now the thing she'll complain about daddy has refused me to drink my Mountain Dew. I want to wear with you. So I couldn't understand. And once again, coming from that family where you're seeing your mom and your dad always together.
That's what you want for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what he had given me for many years.
So to see
Yeah.
that stop.
It was very, very confusing.
So I want to ask ladies about your bounce back, because obviously we're talking about it now and we're clearly not in that place of heartbreak. What was the trick that did it for you, that you were like, oh, you look back and you're like, oh, actually, I don't feel bad anymore. I'm not hurt.
Can I go first?
Yes.
I'm really intrigued.
I was still telling you I'd put on weight and you always say these sweet things about me. I sat at dad. He's like, babes, let's go for dinner. I'm like, in 3 months, I was 96 kilos. In 3 months, I dropped to 62 kilos. I couldn't eat. I couldn't function. My friend came home one day and was like, Angie, I'm taking you out. You know, we used to put kapao. The kapao, it couldn't settle on the face at all.
That was tough.
Then I found pink coconut.
You want?
You found a different interest for yourself.
I found pink coconut. And that's when I realized your bounce backs are bouncing back to head off to something else. My bounce back was I found pink coconut and I engrossed all my energy into it. Looking back before, when I get into something, so when the children were born, I thought I was spending a lot of time with him, but the truth is I was dividing my love. Now, as the children became more independent, I collected all this love and I was dumping it onto him. So he must have gotten suffocated.
Okay.
So when pink coconut came into place, I got all this energy and put it into that. So in our case, you've had me say pink coconut saved me. Now he started falling back into love with me.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, I'm always telling you, like now, over where, when my baby comes home, when my king comes home, child of God, I thought I loved him before, but then again, now I love my husband.
She keeps saying that.
I love him. We sit there and bank was like bad days of like, just that also when the love goes, it becomes something else. But I'm glad. Yes, the truth is nobody is supposed to receive that much love. Be it a child, be it a friend, be it too much sugar is always bad. Yeah. And I was young, so really. Okay.
I'm a firm believer in time healing wounds.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I don't know how to not go through pain. I don't know if that makes sense.
We know. We know. You see the pain and dive right
I
through
dive through it. Yes.
Where are you?
Take me. Because I know inevitably I have to go through it.
Yes.
So I faced this heartbreak head on. I was young, I was inexperienced. Of course I made mistakes, and that's the thing about my process. I will make mistakes. I come off as needy, at least back then. So I'm texting, I'm trying to call, I'm like, maybe if I give more of myself, or if I sure that I am interested or I'm still available, maybe he might change his mind and come to me, which are things that I've learned now. Like now, if you broke my heart, it would be a different reaction. But back then, I made those mistakes. And as I did those mistakes, I learned from them. I'm like, oh, okay, so if I call him, I'm probably irritating him. He's not going to pick up my calls. He's not going to respond to my messages. So I'm like, okay, let me try and dial back. Let me reduce the messages and the calling. So I'd say I'm gonna try 2 days, 3 days. I'm like, oh, I went 3 days and I've not thought about calling him. 4 days, a week, 2 weeks. Eventually, I'm like, I don't feel the need to call him.
Yes.
I told you he used to work at a radio station. I stopped listening to the radio station because every time I listened to him, I would be triggered.
Yes.
And I would feel like, oh my gosh, we
played
love
that
this song
song
together. Maybe he's thinking about me. No, he's not.
No. He's with another girl.
He's with another girl, yeah. So I am a firm believer in time healing woods. I allow myself to go through it.
Yeah.
Now I am wiser. Even as I allow myself to go through it, I'll make use of resources like my friends, bounce idea. Like if I say, maybe Manuela, I'm feeling like calling this person, you'll be like, Rachel, don't do it, girl. I'm like, are you sure? Maybe if I call.
Do it.
Yeah, so I do that a lot because I don't want to have to go through it. If I'm by myself, I will justify calling him.
Yeah.
So then I allowed myself to go through it. And to be honest, I looked back and I held on to hope for closure. That was my first interaction with closure. I'm like, I feel like we need a conversation. Yeah. We need to sit down and talk about this. And eventually I had the conversation with him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, eventually I did. And this was much, much later. The guy actually ghosted me. I found out about this girl and I knew she existed. We even went to like events together and she would be there. And now she's there with him. Yeah. So like it became apparent that, oh, actually he is seeing someone and the person exists. So it's not
What other closure did you need?
To know why?
Why?
Why did you
Why did you break up with me? Why did you ghost me? Why did you have the courage to tell me? Yeah. Why did I do something wrong? Eventually we sat down.
I think, Rachel, it's easier to ghost you because
I'm very
because maybe I don't want to use the word sensitive, but yeah, there's a fear of she feels all her feelings.
It's so
and
funny.
how do I deal with
so
that?
funny
Yeah,
you
but
said
how
that
come
because
you're now saying also you're the person who came and gave you 5 lines?
Yeah, but that's
Did
what
you
I prefer.
Did you
No,
deserve
I'll take
it?
that
I think
any
he
day.
knew that
He
she
knows
would
me
take
that
it.
I take it.
Oh, even you would have used one line or
or said the
something.
word, I would have still felt the heartbreak. But I
Okay.
think them coming to me because no one has ever ghosted me. We will have a proper conversation, breakup conversation.
And yet, interestingly, I prefer that. Yes,
But I think the other person
yes,
is
probably
worried.
feels like, oh, she's going to crumble in front of me.
Yeah.
And
And then what do I do?
True,
And I
true.
get that, but I really do prefer that. I want you to sit down with me and tell me this is why I'm ending the relationship.
Yeah.
Of course, I will have questions, but I
course.
will respect your decision. It's the ghosting that leaves me wondering, maybe I've not done enough. Yeah, like that's why I end up doing weird things like overcalling, overtexting.
Ghosting is the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Ghosting
It's
is
the
the
worst. Yeah. So eventually we had the conversation, but by the time we did, I had healed. Yeah, I'd come to a place of acceptance and healing. I was not crying as much. I was not looking out for him as much. So we sat down and talked, and he's like, yeah, you know, Rachel, you were young. You are a proper church girl. There were things I
How
was
is
not
he
ready
now?
to do.
Yeah, I'm looking at a voodoo doll.
That's a story for another day, maybe off camera.
Yeah.
Off camera. Yeah, but yeah, he explained to me that I don't think we were a good match.
Okay.
Based on a number of things. I was not ready to be intimate at the time, and I think he probably was looking for that.
Yeah.
And I was still young. You're a pastor's child. I didn't want to ruin that because maybe I could have ended up like Pumla and oh my gosh.
But me, I wanted to lose
You
my
wanted
virginity.
to, yes.
Dear.
Me, I didn't want.
I was looking to lose mine at that time.
Now, if I had lost my virginity and he had broken up with me, I would have been
Of
crushed.
course.
Yeah.
I would have died. That is the one.
That would have been real absolute heartbreak.
Keep it.
Yeah.
For your husband.
Right?
And then even get to
No.
a
DJ.
Not a pastor's child.
Not a pastor's
A
child.
DJ.
So for me, I've always been a firm believer in the best way to. So I wasn't those people of like, oh, I'm going to go through the breakup. I am going to go through it, but there's gotta be a comeback.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to regret.
Yeah.
You have to after you have finished.
Yeah. Don't we all feel
You will be
that?
not everybody.
Not everyone.
Everybody. People move
I
on.
don't care.
People don't care. Me, I care. How How dare you?
You'll say
How?
Who gave you that courage?
Who gave you? Who told you? Who told you?
Who gave you the
So I
permission?
got through the break. I got through the heartache, and I really did go through the heartache. Like I would real cry at my times of crying, so I would real mourn, like, and now I would be alone in the scheduled time, and I would be alone, so I needed to cry
Quickly and alone.
There was work to be done.
If I can't have juice, then come back and continue from there. And now I had time because I was in S6, VAC, and you know that thing you're waiting for result. I had time on me. So Sunday, I would be triggered. I continue Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
By Thursday, getting better.
Sunday again. But the truth is, I allowed myself to go through that pain. And then there's a friend of mine who came to see me. The same one who told me to report myself.
To mommy.
The other, to mommy, the same one who came to see me. That same
Rosette,
one.
where were you?
Rosette was in the front.
She was. They have now done. They moved there.
And now they are dancing. Rosette was in the back seat.
So that she came to me, and then she's the one who I walked through the emotions with. That was when I real dressed up, like I real went out on a walk with her, and she was telling me, no, it's okay, it's a heartbreak. She explained everything to me, and I was like, now, I think now.
I'm ready.
Now I'm good. Now I'm good. You think that I can't move on alone. Meanwhile, because most times people think that, to move on means you have to be with somebody. No, I thought it wasn't the only fish. I'm fine.
That's the comeback I was saying.
I'm okay.
And I don't need somebody else to fill in your place. Actually, your place didn't need to be filled in, because what did you do? What place did you have?
You
It
brought
was never
books.
there.
They brought books.
It didn't help. And I'm telling you, the reason as to why I needed a comeback was because they actually got married.
Oh, they did.
So
Okay.
I really needed. I really needed.
But for them, did they kiss in at the wedding?
At how
in
would I
public?
know? Was I there at the wedding? Was I invited?
Just introduced her to the mother.
And that's where we continued from. But I remember that I told myself I needed to be fine on my own, and
Very good.
people needed to see
That you were fine.
that I was fine. So I needed to get fine with myself, and I got fine with myself, and I didn't want anybody. I didn't want to feel, I didn't want to have a rebound. I didn't want all of that. I wanted to be fine on my own and by myself. And when I say fine,
You mean fine.
I mean fine.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just emotionally.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I plaited all the hair. That was war. So when I walk, I feel like a chick in a commercial.
Slow motion.
Gamming slow mo.
Come and see.
I hear
To check on me.
I've had quite a number.
And clothes, how were you borrowing with?
With them best
their-
selves.
Yes.
So when they're like,
The
when they
ex-needs
find me, when they see
And
me,
I
I
think
have
in
to.
this social media era, it must be worse.
Yes,
Ex needs to
especially-
see your
Ex
post
needs to see.
and see that you're good.
Choka, I've never felt that, and maybe because I've always usually been the perpetrator rather than
Yeah,
anything else.
yeah.
I think so the heartbreak that I said, which was my only heartbreak, my brother was so instrumental, and I don't even think he knows Bambi. So
Have you finished your heartbreak?
Yes, I've finished. No, I worked on self.
Self.
I worked on. I
Okay.
needed
you
to
work
be
on yourself
fine.
so early, Bambi. So it's an early age to learn to work on
Work on
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
You learn much
Yeah,
later.
I mean, my brother had to shake up. So ex and my brother were actually very close friends. That's how I had actually got to know him. So my brother came on day 4. Remember, I was under the dube crying.
Yeah.
Day 4, he just came and told me, Pamela, you're behaving very stupidly. Now, usually I'm the one on that side.
Yes, I was going to say that's your language.
So I became
mean.
ashamed by my reputation. How dare someone tell me that I'm behaving stupidly? Because I was. What was I doing? I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, but I could have dealt with it better. I wasn't even interacting. I wasn't saying anything. My brother had to come and look for me. I hadn't gone home over the weekend because I used to go home every weekend, see my parents. But I was there. He's the one who never used to go home. And he said, hey, I wasn't picking my calls. Anyone calls me, I wouldn't pick. I was just there. Yeah, like a pupa. So stupid.
Really?
Yeah, no, and you see, actually, what woke me up most was when he said, now remember I told you the other lady, the other woman had dangled a kanyebo.
Yes.
Now, as soon as he went the other side, they released the Kanyebo. He didn't find any bosom. So one of the things that made me happy, Auntie Misery Loves Company, was that, hey, they rejected him there. Fuchs. But now when my brother came and told me, and I hope that when he comes back to you, because he's going to come back to you, you don't go back. Now that's the one that made me so upset with how he perceived me. That you mean as if I'm a toilet?
You just go and come back.
And for sure, if my brother hadn't said those words, I would have gone back.
That
is the truth. I was hurting, and all I wanted was for him. The one who's causing you pain is the only one who you want to come and help you, to save you, to release you. Yet he's the one who's hurting you. So you shouldn't be the one. So my brother just said that. He said, excuse me, you're not going to embarrass Asati. Because now the boy is going to come back. The other chick left him. Now he's going to find you and you're vulnerable. And true to be told, he came back. But I felt so empowered in that directness that, Pumla, how can you allow somebody, first of all, remember how he treated you. And not to say he treated me badly, no. But I was so focused. I started to realize in the words that he said that I wasn't the person that he wanted to be with. I realized I was the one who was mostly being forward in the relationship. That I was the one mostly initiating stuff and the engagements and everything. So that's what I realized, that, okay, yes, he was romantic with you, but usually you're the one who would say, okay, please come and see me. Oh, I got to beach. I was like, what is this that I'm doing? No. One, I'm not a toilet. You can't come and walk over me. Do you know my value? I'm sorry. I cannot be the one who people are saying that he can come back, even after not treating you the way you deserve. And in that moment, I swore that every man who comes into my life, I choose, not the other way around. If you come and you're there and you're pursuing me, I still have to make the choice. It is never a thought that, oh, you chose me. No, you pursued me. And I chose. I decided because of A, B, C, D, E. And it's just in that I went to class, and then I realized that, and actually that's where my journey in learning choice came from. I decided, I can wake up and leave this duvet and go to class. My brother left the room. I got my books with my eye bags and tears, and I went to class.
But of course it helped that they had dumped the other one.
Yeah, it really helped. I was so happy about that. I was so happy about that.
God forgive us.
I was so happy about that. And then in choosing, and when he came back to Panage Aaron Chewankola, when he came back, it was himself. When he came back, the fact that I was strong enough to make the choice to reject him,
must have been very
that's where now I felt like, oh my God, I have so much power. And I'm so sorry, but it led me through a spiral of breaking other people's hearts for a period of time there after that. But
you were exercising
this empowerment. And you can choose. You can choose to do anything, And then when I was choosing not to be sad, I wasn't sad. Then I realized, oh my God, I have such control over my own feelings. I don't have to be sad just because something bad happened to me.
I know where it came from.
I chose. I can choose to get a spiral out.
That way.
There
are those who go through everything
ever since that. This is true. Ever since that day. To find me, my heart is hurt. I get hurt. The heart gets dented. But to break. What is that? Who are you? How powerful can you be? I chose you, remember? Not the other way around.
I like all these that we go through help us become better people. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you realize when you get married and you've been through all these heartbreaks, you're like, I needed to go through this to appreciate this. So they really help us get better. With mine, I think I'm kind of weird like Pumla. It's very difficult to
Ngonge girl completely.
I want to crash, but I'll be like, no, I'll pull myself back quickly. So I remember that heartbreak was, of course, the first one is the first feeling. So you're not understanding what you're going through. It triggers you a certain way, but the rest that comes through,
after
you're like, no, I'm not letting this happen. But I remember when we were younger, we used to dance. We had a dance group, and it was such a great distraction as a young person, because everyone needs something that gives them vibe and energy to just go through the year, especially when you don't have work, because we are free campus. There are people who don't have activity. That's why in COVID they were saying, Banange, give your children activity, because if they don't, sex is all they'll think about. Besides books, it will only be sex. So after this heartbreak, you'll go and get broken again. Look for, because alcohol, and mostly girls, if you're heartbroken now, you want to go and show, you just fall onto any other guy.
So true.
And then
So
that one
true.
will also break you, because you're not thinking through. You're just like, how do I show this guy that, me, I'm not ugly,
I'm not,
because heartbreaks kill your esteem.
Yes, it does.
They really kill your esteem.
Yeah.
But for me, what really helped me was that distraction. I went dancing, because for me, dancing is therapy. And before you know it, you're good. Like, I'm like, dude, you didn't hurt me.
So Rosette talked about offering children distraction, and I think as moms, we are definitely preparing our children for the world. Angie has older kids. So heartbreak, where our kids are concerned, have you figured out how you're preparing them for heartbreak? Because it's kind of inevitable. It's almost inevitable. It may not be before they get married. It could be like Angie after they've, picked a spouse.
Yeah, so personally, I just decided that let life show him, because there are certain experiences that where it doesn't matter how much preparation you do, they first got to go through it. The theory is irrelevant. The theory is redundant, and maybe the lessons might only be able to start afterwards. But when Angie was speaking about her heartbreak, and I remember when I was going through my heartbreak, I felt like I needed my mom. I think I needed somebody I could be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
So what I'm really hoping to do now is that I'm just hoping that my son can lean into the security I have provided of the safe space for open communication between the two of us, so that when he's going through it, I feel like you have to be with someone who you can be vulnerable with, and not fully. I don't want my son to come and be there and and be as if, oh my God, I'm going through this. No. But just to lean into that support, even if it just means coming home. And not talking to me about it. That's it. Because just come home and be home. I didn't go home when I was going through my stuff, but mostly because my mom's ninja. I knew what she was going to tell me, which is what I think I needed to hear. I mean, my brother came and told me, and beat me up out of it. So I'm just hoping that in the lessons of life that I'm teaching my child, that he can tap into, because for me, I think I said it on this show before, for me, as long as you're going through anything, 5 stages of grief. And I remember when I mentioned it that time, I didn't tell the viewers, explain what they were. So one is denial. Because yes, you're going to deny the fact that this has happened to you and want to go through.
Your heart doesn't want to allow.
Your heart is not accepting this has happened to you. And then, so after, when you go through denial, you can go through anger. Because you're angry by what has happened to you. It's a stage, you really have to go through it. After anger, you can start bargaining. Bargaining meaning now you're trying to wonder, maybe I could have done something better. Maybe I could have been a different person. Maybe if I had done this. After bargaining, you're allowed to get into some state of depression. You don't eat, you don't engage with anybody. You're just there and you don't know what to do with yourself. And then the beautiful, beautiful end, acceptance. Once you accept, then after you can practice better, healthier behaviors for you to cope with a heartbreak. So I don't have to specifically teach my son that when your heart breaks, this is. But generally in life, when things are not going right, when things are poured, if you realize that I have to go through these stages, and sometimes it's not as linear as that, you can move from one and bounce to the other, and then all the way back, even after acceptance, you can bounce
regress.
Back, or they can come at once, but learn that they're there and teach yourself how to navigate them independently.
So for me, I think the preparation actually started when they sat me down recently and told me that they have crushes. So I listened to the crush. I leaned in. Who is she? Who is he? What are they like? Tell me. They were excited to tell me about their friend who they like so much, and they spend so much time with them. And then I told them it would end. What? Like, I was like, after I had leaned in properly and put in even Kasunda Basi, when it's the birthday, we have to think of a present. Whoa. That I finished and I really entered. Then I told them how I remember also me, I had a crush. They were like, what? And I told them about the boy and what they were so sad. They were just enjoying. Then I told them, but it ended. What? Then they started to ask me like, how did it feel? That told me, then it was a crush. I didn't feel so much. But then when I was older, it really pained my heart. And that pain is so painful. They're like, how do you feel pain when someone has not cut you? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but you feel pain. So I'm like, what? That's where the convo, that's where it ended. So I feel like in their minds, they are aware. It's just a thing of like from there. And I feel like for me, what that did for them is that if it happens, they would recognize. They'll be like, no. Mommy went through it, this one went through it. Because many times I feel like the way heartbreak works, you think you are alone. Like you're the only one who has ever gone through it. It's so isolating and it leaves you on your own because you're the only one who knows what happened between the two of you in the relationship and how much you gave in and how much. So you feel ashamed, you feel sad, you feel, and you really do isolate yourself and you think you are the only one who can understand and suffering and who has ever been through it and all of that. And I felt that just telling them that tells them, but well, my mom went through it, and
like I can.
And so it was quite interesting the other day when Bianca came and told me, I don't like him anymore. I said, hey, what happened? She's like, now he likes to play football, yet me, I like to play basketball, and every time I call him, he doesn't want to play basketball. So
where is this going?
Where is this going? No
so
way.
That's where we are. Then the other one left the school, so it's like, she left, so I don't know where she is. So
Lol.
Love that girl.
I'm saying Blake. Now she left the girl
school.
left the school,
So.
and he's like, I wonder how she is. I wonder where she is. Anyway,
We
she moved on after a few days. So I feel like they kind of know that it comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. Yeah.
In my case, because mine are older, I think I'll give that perspective. Growing up, I believe, I don't know if this sounds negative, but I believe that a girl should be raised with a superiority complex. Yeah? Because the truth is that the world is going to chip at it. Either her bum is not right, her head is not right, her this is wrong, she's too bright, she's too dull, she's too this. So you try to do that, prepare them to be up there so that, you know, when life brings them down.
With things.
Not to the ground.
Not to the ground, After you're done through this, like I went through the stages. So I knew that those were some of the reasons that I was able to bounce back. So even with the children, I have instilled that. But once again, I hope I don't sound wrong. I felt that the reason my heart was that broken, beyond the fact that I came from like up there and landed on this normal earth of ours, is I am encouraging my daughter to date. To date. I honestly...
Or like you are inexperienced.
Yes,
so.
I always said that, and I told him that. I said, yes, I know I made some mistakes, but I didn't know better. I had never done this before, so I didn't know that this is how you give, but
balance.
Not too, I don't know. I just didn't know that. Today, I completely understand, but by then, I didn't. So with Asante, I'm like, when the time does come, date. You know, go out, understand, see that men are not all the same. Not all men are like your dad or your brothers. So it's important to have this conversation. But as I said, I'm having a conversation with an older child. But as she said, the truth is, whatever you teach them, a child has to go through heartache on their own. I have seen my son's heart broken, and he came and told me, said, Mom, it was my fault.
Oh, it was his fault?
Yes. Really nice girl, you know. Then of course the long distance came in, so I think he went to a party, hooked up with another girl, then tried to cover things up. If anything, they could have remained friends because she's that type of girl, but in the process of trying to cover what he had done, he ended up really hurting her. So So we were out and he received a call. I said, move here, move here. Bambi, you know, they are men, but their heart, they also feel. I mean, I never used to understand that women, we actually break men's heart. We really, really do, until I saw my son's heart break. You could real. He was not the same. He's always in the room. I said, there's no, I reached an extent, God forgive me. I said, can I please call her?
Oh, this is you trying to do something about it.
Yeah, because yes. But of course, you're saying that because you're like, now what can I do? Because you know that won't fix it. But I'm like, my child is going to, you know, and because of the heartbreak, I don't know if you listened, I was 96 kilos and I dropped to 63. In 3 months.
30 kilos.
Thank you. That's a whole human being.
Yeah.
So I know what that kind of pain is. And as a mother, you're always trying to assist. But the truth is, there is nothing.
Yeah, they have to go through it.
To be honest.
You were there for him. Because in most cases, really, this is like their first difficult experience in their life. You get like there's not been a major one. That is like their first really deep. Exactly. So the fact that you're there, I really like that. I've not had a conversation with my kids yet, maybe when they grow older, but I'm hoping that I build a stage for them where they are free to come and talk. And also while I'm raising them, I want to affirm them so much so that no heartbreak brings them so low, because honestly we need to find a ground level for these heartbreaks, man. Something can push you down, not on the ground, it real digs and buries you. That's how sometimes it gets to people. So I want to build them a stage where it doesn't really push them under the dust, where they can really, you know, come out of it.
Even if it pushes them down, you get up and dust yourself.
And dust yourself and go. So for me, I'm honestly wanting to build just a relationship where they can talk freely about these things. And we are like, all of us go through these things. It's okay.
Mama Zara, you know, because you have boys, when boys hurt, they hurt. And then they hurt other people's daughters. So during that period, or just like, it's happened. Because I was now telling him. And I said, babes, no. Let him go through it. So that he knows what it feels like to hurt somebody. So that he doesn't, because his brothers were like, man, let's go out. Let's do.
Yeah, they do that.
No. Go through it. Accept it's happened. Send her an email. You know, apologize. Accept you've made a mistake. Own the mistake. Then move on. With most men, generally, they just move on to the next thing, and usually the next thing is your child, your daughter.
Someone else's daughter.
Which just sucks. You know, it's so interesting that even when we were giving our submissions about heartbreak, none of us said, my mom told me to do this. Do you realize? And I think Pumla is so right that there's not much you can do in terms of preparation. You can just give them the right tools in life in general to be able to go through this. One of the things that stresses me about my child, first of all, I see a lot of myself in him. There's been times when like he's on a playground and there's a particular kid he wants to play with, and he comes running to me. It has happened like maybe 3 times. He's like, Mommy, tell so-and-so to play with me. You know, and the Rachel will want to do something about it, but I'm like, I need you to be able to handle these relationships for yourself. So I would send him back. I said, no, go back and tell him you want to play with him. Or and tell her you want to play with her. If they don't know your name, just introduce yourself and say, I'm Micah, I want to play with you. And so he's like, no, you come and tell them. So anyway, eventually he runs and he's never come back to say, if they refuse, I think he finds a way to move on. Which is the resilience we're trying to build in our kids. And I think that is a good starting point. So thank you, ladies, for being vulnerable to the heartbreakers.
We love you.
We love you.
Yes,
you made us. I mean, there's so much that we learned from our experiences and that we are passing on to our children. I hope this has been helpful in some shape or form, and that you are vulnerable enough to share your experiences with us in the comment section. Of course, we are coming to you from the beautiful Golden Tulip Hotel We like to put you on to good stuff. They have amazing brunch every Sunday. You can come by with your family, with your kids, with your friends, with your girlfriends, and enjoy amazing brunch. It's 90,000 shillings for adults and 60,000 shillings for kids. Very affordable, I must add. Come in and have a good time. That's it from us. Until next time, with love from Bump Love.